Adam Hakimi is here. Adam Hakimi. Anybody knows Adam Hakimi? Anybody knows him? Because he didn't attend for quiz, for open book test, but name still in the list. Adam Hakimi, is that here? Okay. So we okay, the graph is y equal to 2 sine minus 3x plus pi over 2. We do write as 2 sine. We put minus outside. 3x plus here become minus pi over 2. Why we put minus outside? Because we're going to apply even odd properties. Even odd properties. That's why we put minus in front. So remember that sine function is even function or odd function? Sine function. Even function or odd function? Maybe
odd function.
Odd function. Because sine function is odd function, this negative goes to outside. But if the function is even function, this negative don't do anything, do not affect. But this one, because sine function is an odd function, this negative will go outside, so we get minus 2 sine 3x minus pi over 2. So in fact, this function, we can rewrite like this. Right. When come to here, we can find the amplitude. Amplitude is A. A in this case is minus 2. But amplitude is absolute value, as I said yesterday, and amplitude is absolute value of A. So if minus 2 is become plus 2 as well. So amplitude is plus 2. Period. Period, from the formula of period, period is what? Period is what? From the formula of period.
2 pi over modulus
2 pi
B.
over B. B in this case, what is B in this case? 3. So period is 2 pi over 3. And phase shift from the formula, phase shift is from the formula. And the formula of phase shift.
Negative C over B.
Negative C over B. So it's negative. What is C? C is minus pi over 2. This is C over B. B is 3. So we get plus pi over 6 because minus become plus. So we get those 3 values. Amplitude 2, period 2 pi over 3, phase shift pi over 6. And now we sketch the graph. And the way we sketch the graph is we have to look where our graph will be start. Normally, our graph, when we want to sketch one cycle or one period of graph, start at the phase shift. So start at pi over 6. And where it will stop? When it will stop? If graph start at pi over 6, where it will stop? Where it's going to be stopped?
Pi over 6 plus period.
Pi over 6, you plus with period. Period in this case is 2 pi over 3. That's, you get 5 pi over 6. That's the reason why we stop here at 5 pi over 6. We stop here at 5 pi over 6. Start at pi over 6, stop at 5 pi over 6. Now, right, we sketch the graph. Remember that before we sketch the graph, we need to know what's supposed to be the points of crossing x-axis. The points on x-axis, not crossing x-axis, the point on x-axis. Since we divide by 4, we need to divide by 4. So the period, our period, we divide by 4. So 2 pi over 3. 2 pi over 3. We divide by 4, which we get. What we get?
Pi over 6.
Pi over 6. Which means that the length of each sub-interval is pi over 6, pi over 6, pi over 6, pi over 6. Altogether is 2 pi over 3. So if here is points pi over 6, here supposed to be what? 2 pi over 6. Because pi over 6, you plus with another pi over 6 here. 2 pi over 6, you plus with pi over 6, you get 3 pi over 6. 3 pi over 6, you plus with pi over 6, you get 4 pi over 6. 4 pi over 6, you plus with pi over 6, you get 5 pi over 6. Right. Now, because we want to sketch the graph of the sine function. Sine function, the graph of the sine function is like this. Therefore, our graph will be like this. And we need to know that where it goes, the most up it goes, where the most up it will go. The graph, our graph will go. Where is the most up? The most highest?
2.
2. Because because amplitude is 2. So the graph is like this. However, we need to remember that we have minus. Our function have minus. Therefore, it is minus. We have to make a reflection. So we reflect, we get this shape after we reflect. Now, after reflection, we get this shape. Right. Then we have the points here is pi over 6, 0, pi over 6 for x and 0 for y. Point here is we look at the value of x is 2 pi over 6 and the value of y is minus 2. Point here we look at the x is 3 pi over 6 and the value of y is 0. 4 pi over 6, 2. And 5 pi over 6, 0. This is the graph of y equal to 2 sine minus 3x plus pi over 2, the original. That's the shape of the graph. We obtain this, we can sketch this graph after we get the values of all those three. Very important. Without knowing that values, definitely we cannot sketch the graph here. Question. Sketching the graph.
Sir,
Yes.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't put the negative sign outside, can we still get the graph?
You don't put negative sign outside.
For the we
Yes,
don't.
yes, yes. You
Oh,
can still have the graph. You can still have the graph. And the graph. Also, you get the graph same like this. You mean if you substitute one by one? You mean? You substitute, yes, you get the graph.
okay. I understand. Thank you, sir.
Now, let's say if we change the function, we change the function to be the function y equal to minus 1 over 2 sine 3x plus pi so definitely different amplitude. What is the amplitude now?
1/2.
1 over 2 period
2 pi/3.
2 pi over 3 phase shift
-pi/3.
within, which means that shift to left. And now sketch the graph minus pi over 3, we stop at where? We stop at where?
Minus pi over 3 plus 2 pi over 3.
Now, what do you get?
Pi over 3.
Pi over 3. Right. This is sine function. Therefore, the graph will be like this. And we need to know this place. We need to know this place, and this one definitely we already know. It is 0. This one. Yes. What the value? What the value?
Negative pi over 6.
Yes. Pi over 6. Here.
Pi over 6 also.
Pi over 6. One is minus and one is plus. Remember that because this function has negative in front, so it's about reflection. Reflections. Reflection. Okay. What's the value here? And what's the value here?
Over 2.
1 over 2 minus 1 over 2. So, reflection meaning that goes down. Which means that what is the points here? Minus pi over 3, 0. Minus pi over 3 for x and 0 for y. What is the value here? Minus pi over 6 minus 1 over 2. Minus pi over 6 for x and minus 1 over 2 for y. What is the point here? The point here is 0, 0. Point here? Where is the points there?
Pi over 6.
Pi over 6.
1 over 2.
1 over 2. And here?
1 over 2. Pi over 3.
Pi over 3.
0.
0. And this is the graph of y equal to minus 1 over 2 sine 3x plus pi. Minus 1 over 2 sine 3x plus pi. question.
So why the graph is reflect?
Right?
Why the graph is reflect?
Because of a negative here. Because negative sign.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Same like the previous one, because a negative sign is reflect. Another function. Another function. Y equal to minus 1 over 2 cos pi minus 3x. Can be written as y equal to minus 1 over 2 cos minus 3x plus pi. Can be written to minus 1 over 2 cos minus 3x minus pi. Why we put minus here? Because we want our angle in form of minus. So cos is a what function? Even function or odd function? Cos.
Even function.
Even function. Therefore, if minus here does not matter, it's become class as well. So it's equal to minus 1 over 2 cos 3x minus pi. Same. Because minus here for the case of even function does not matter. Remember this. Cos minus theta is equal to cos theta. When we look at the properties of even odd properties of trigonometric function. So therefore, our function is this. So from that, find amplitude. Amplitude equal to
1 over 2.
1 over 2. Period.
Two pi over 3.
2 pi over 3. Phase shift.
Pi over 3.
Pi over 3. Remember that the formula of phase shift is how to get phase shift minus C over B. Minus pi over 3. Minus and minus become plus. That's the reason why we get pi over 3 only. Plus means that we shift to the right. Now sketching. The place we start is pi over 3. Where the place that we need to stop with? Where's the place that we need to stop with?
Pi.
Pi. And amplitude is 1 over 2. Our graph now, we want to sketch the graph of the cost function, which means that the graph like this. Therefore, we need to know here, here, here. So, what's next? Because remember that the durations or the interval, this length of this interval is pi over 6. How do we know the length is pi over 6? Because period we divide by 4. So what's supposed to be there? What's supposed to be there? What's supposed to be here?
Pi over 6.
Huh? Pi over 6? Remember that the length here is pi over 6. So what's supposed to be here? The length here is pi over 6. What's supposed to be here?
Pi over 2.
Huh? Pi over 2. Because pi over 3, you plus with pi over 2, you get, you plus with pi over 6, you get this. The length here, the length here. What is coordinates here?
2 over 3.
2 pi over 3. Here,
5 pi over 6.
5 pi over 6. Here, pi. Okay. Remember that our function consists of negative. Therefore, what we have to do?
Reflect.
Reflect.
Meaning that instead of start at positive 1 over 2, start at negative 1 over 2. Go up, down. It's reflections. Become like that. The point here is the points of pi over 3 minus 1 over 2. Point here. What is the point there? What is the point there?
Pi over 3.
Pi over 2 and
0.
0. Point here.
2 pi over 3.
2 pi over 3.
1 over 2.
1 over 2. Points here.
5 pi over 6.
5 pi over 6. 0. The points here.
Pi.
Pi
Negative 1 over 2.
minus 1 over 2. Any question? Let's say if we change the function, definitely change graph. Let's say the function is y equal to minus 2 cos 2x minus pi over 2. Again, cos function. Amplitude,
Two.
amplitude 2. Period,
Pi.
pi. Phase shift, phase shift.
pi over 4.
Pi over 4. Shift right. Okay. Sketch the graph now. Must be start at where? Pi over 4. Ah. Stop at where? Stop at where?
5 pi over 4.
5 pi over 4. Amplitude 2 minus 2. This is the graph of the cost function. It will be like this. So we need to find here. We need to find there. So what is the coordinates there? And what's the coordinates here? How to know the coordinates here? Remember that period now is pi. So each subinterval, the length of each subinterval is what? We have 4 subintervals. What is the length for each subinterval?
Pi over 4.
Pi over 4. So the value here will be
2 pi over 4.
or pi over 2. Here,
3 pi over 4.
3 pi over 4. Here,
4 pi over 4.
or
4
pi.
pi.
Right. Since again, negative. Negative meaning that we have to reflect. So we need to reflect. Ah. Ah. So we know that what is this point? What is this point?
Pi over 4
Pi
minus
over
2.
4
Minus 2.
minus 2. Here,
Pi over 2.
pi over 2,
0.
0. Here,
3 pi
3 pi
4.
over 4,
2.
2. Here, pi 0. Here, 5 pi over 4 minus 2. And the name of this graph, y equal to minus 2 cos 2x minus pi over 2. Remember that we only concentrate of the sine function and cos function. Questions? Question?
No.
Let's say another function. Y equal to 3 sine pi x plus 2. So, first of all, amplitude. Amplitude is what?
3.
3. Period?
Pi.
Huh? Pi?
2 pi over pi.
Uh-huh. So what?
Pi.
Huh? Pi? Oh, 2 pi over pi. 2 right? Pi. Now, we encounter with the case that the period is no longer in terms of pi. Does not matter. Does not matter. Now, if we stick that period is 2. Phase shift. Phase shift.
Negative 2 over pi.
Minus 2 over pi. Shift to the right or left? Left. Shift to the right or shift to the left?
Left.
Because negative. Now, we start where? Minus 2 over pi. Where are we going to stop? Where are we going to stop? Where are we going to stop?
0.
0? Why we start at 0?
Minus 2 over pi plus 2, sir.
Minus 2 over pi plus 2 equal to what? Yes, minus 2 over pi plus 2 because our period is 2. Minus 2 over pi plus 2 is minus 2 plus 2 pi over pi. Amplitude 3 minus 3. The graph that we're going to sketch is the graph of the sine function. And the graph of the sine function. Where the sine function, the graph will be like this. So we need to know where here, what here, what the sign there. Sorry, here. We need to know the place here. Sorry, here. Right. You try to serve. Right. To remind you again that we're going to have open book test number 2 next week, next Monday next week. Okay, I'll stop here with the Tasbih Kifara and Surah Al-Asr. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.